This Big 12 Conference Preview Part 2 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their new Pick 8. Sign up with SGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hey, this is Pac-Man Jones. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride. Yes, sir.
Long, Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Over.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stuck in the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Are we renamed to the Sweet 16 yet?
Yes, officially the Sweet 16 College Football Conference Preview Part 2. Joining us, the sweetheart of college football, Colby Dant, aka Pick Dundee. What's happening, Colby?
I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. Is that the worst chant at a game?
That is bad.
That's. I feel like that's that's a classic Utah State chant.
Yeah,
Trying to remember when at first there was like a Nike commercial about it.
it's a soccer thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why it sucks. Problem solved. No, nothing else to add there.
But I like how you're working it into college football.
I could have swore I saw Utah State doing it in basketball.
College football fan bases have used it.
But it's always like a corny fan base though.
It's an easy thing.
Like
to
Utah
chant.
State's a great fan base, but they've never seen a rated R movie.
But
you know what I mean?
but,
like
I'm not defending it at all. But if you were to really break down a lot of the anthems and chants they play in stadiums,
yeah,
a lot of them break down pretty quickly.
huh?
Yeah.
What do you mean breakdown?
Might have to do this on the forensic files.
Oh,
episode.
I'm just pointing out that there's a lot of like silly and stupid things that are played at stadiums that like immediately people perk up and they like the wave.
Guess,
right?
guess he's not a fan of jock jams, Sean.
Well, no, essentially jock jams. Yeah, second. Like
yeah, jock jams are awesome. Those rock. I believe that we will
rock you. You don't like that one, huh?
I think they all have
I
equal
didn't know
levels of silliness.
I didn't know you were a communist.
No. I just think I played rugby. There's a lot of group chanting that goes on.
Is that big in Russia?
No. I'm just saying that the group,
Kramer wanted to do the haka before the show, get us all hyped up.
yeah, a lot of those things seem to they seem normal in the moment, but when you step away from the moment, I'm just saying they're strange.
Well, I thought it was strange also that the Big 12 has one black coach and one Hawaiian coach, and you went on the under on both of them.
Wow.
Yeah, and the Giants have also never had a black head coach.
Why
So
are you
I'm
bringing
starting
any
to
of
understand this,
up?
right?
Colby's angry. Is still angry about the things I brought up. I'm pushing messages for they.
What'd you do on your weekends in Blacksburg?
Had cocktails. I generally ate a sandwich. Usually played a rugby game. Maybe watched a football game.
Just wondering. Under investigation.
Sounds legit.
Maybe went to an illegal rock quarry.
hired a black head coach yet?
The moment hasn't come up.
Great question.
I just wonder why.
Michael Penix was really talented. Giants could have drafted him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Any reason they slipped through the Giants' fingers.
Wow.
Colby.
Yeah, and with Daniel Jones too. They were drafted.
I guess case closed when you got a good-looking Duke quarterback at the helm. He plays ball the right way. I get it.
Well, you could just check boxes like the Jets.
They've had a black coach though, Todd Bowles.
Robert Saleh.
Well, Colby
Currently black.
Colby doesn't count Robert Saleh. That's just checking a box. Anything else you want to bring up about?
I'm just saying it's under investigation right now. It's under investigation.
Look, I think if you listen to what I would do is I'd go back and listen to the Big 12/Sweet 16 Part 1. And you tell me in there what types of biases you hear.
I noticed he went over on a clean Matt Campbell, Sean.
Yep.
He was like, "Oh, I like this name."
like
Matt
the cut
Campbell.
of his gym.
This motherfucker got rock hard for Willie Fritz. You want to talk about epitomizing white? What, like where you enunciate the H in white?
All I know is he heard Kalani Sitake. He said, "What? Give me under."
I think Willie Fritz was hanging
Is
out
he a
with
sushi chef Sataki?
Yeah, I don't know.
Colby, how many? Kramer had 3 overs, 6 unders. How many? 9 teams, obviously, or no? Only 8 in the in part
Sweet
2.
16 divided by 2 is Sweet 8.
Yeah, so maybe I did my math wrong. All right, so you're 5-3 to the.
So I have biases against certain types of ethnicities and overs.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
How many unders will he
And
have?
Caitlin
8
Clark.
teams.
He went under on UCLA yesterday. Deshaun Foster, their head coach.
Okay, yeah. Well, last year he was high on him.
Things-
Yeah,
things
what's
are-
I'm saying? What's going
Chip
on
Kelly
here? What's
kinda
going on
was-
here?
yeah.
That's a great name. He's like Chip Kelly. That I got to take the over.
Yeah, things I currently hate: white female basketball players and black,
Clark, not very
black college football
not
coaches.
very good.
No, it's not even black. Kalani Sitake's
good.
not black. You prefer your.
See, I don't even know these things. I
You
don't see
prefer
color.
your coaches to be, Bill Smith.
Really?
If it was,
I don't know.
if it was Jeff Thomas or something,
Coach
you would
Pry?
take. You would
I like
take the
Coach
over.
Pry.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. We'll get to. I was a big, I was a big John Thompson guy. Shout out Georgetown. when
He
I was
went
a
under
kid.
on Kalen DeBauer. He doesn't even realize he's white. Right?
Oh, my
That was a mistake. He asked us to change that one.
DeBauer. Come on. It's easy. All right, you want to talk about actual football now?
Let's talk.
Any other things you want to dig up, Colby?
It's under investigation.
You-
Me and Sean have we went to an outside party. They're investigating you. If you don't know if there's a van following you around,
Here's what I'll say.
I
I got a shovel in the truck right now. Don't ask why. We can go, and anything else you want to go and dig up?
Dave Aranda's not white. He went under on Baylor.
Yep. Not.
Well,
Now we're getting somewhere, Sean. We're really getting
no,
somewhere.
I went over on Baylor.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on.
I still like your theory, Cole.
Come on.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Well,
I
the Giants one is 100%.
You
right.
do mention a good point when you talk about how clean Matt Campbell's fade is. Kansas, one of I feel like we've adopted.
Gotta love the name Lance. He hears the name Lance, Sean. He's on board on an over. I tell you that right now.
Lance is top 5 douchebag names.
Oh, what?
Are you serious right now?
Lance?
You know any cool Lances?
Lance
I know one.
Leipold, baby.
I know. Yeah, I know a couple.
What else?
Uh,
Yeah, exactly. Lance Stevenson. He wasn't very cool. That's not a guy that screams cool.
Trey
was-
Lance?
I happen to like the
Trey Lance, great point.
The Longwood Lancers.
Yeah, no, a Lancer is different. We're talking about first name Lance. If your first name is Lance, you almost certainly had a membership to a country club. Kansas was 5-4 in the conference last year, 8-4 overall, 8.5 is the win total this year, plus 140 to the over, minus 170 to the under, 9-1 to win the conference, 7-10 to make the playoff, minus 1250 to miss, 200-1 to win the college football championship. Colby loves Lance Leipold. So much so he's trying to trick the audience and bait them with his comments of bigotry and hate. So tell us why you're going to go over on the very white Lance Leipold.
Well, I will go over just based because it's him, but I am a little concerned here. You don't have a home advantage
just because it's
here.
him. What do you mean?
Like he's a very good football coach. I think he's better than almost
Sean,
every
true or
football
false?
coach.
In part one, Colby said caution on Kansas. They don't have home games.
That's what I'm
this year.
saying, and this makes me really paranoid. This will not be a lock.
They're not playing. They're playing a lot of their games at Arrowhead.
And they have like one game at Children's Mercy's
No, they have a
Park
couple.
at MLS
Are
stadium.
you guys doing a
Yeah.
deep dive on the stadium over on Stadium Heads?
Yeah, we've talked trash about the new renditions
no,
of
what
Kansas'
happened?
stadium.
It's bad.
Yeah.
So we want to keep it the way it is. Maybe you should create a club, and just like in Fight Club, you can just blow up all the bad stadiums. Make it so they only good. Like he blew up all the credit agencies to delete all the credit and all the debt.
Yeah, because there's a lot of great new ones. Like Baylor's got a new
You could
stadium. It's
delete
awesome.
all the bad
Yeah.
stadiums, Colby.
let's
Just
go.
a little bit of gasoline, some fertilizer. All the new stadiums gone. Poof.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, continue.
Well, look, I'm concerned about a couple things here. Like I said, they lost their offensive coordinator to Penn State. I think they'll be fine with replacing that, but I should throw that out there. The stadium is a home stadium is a real advantage.
It kind of matters,
right?
Some would say they didn't have the best home edge, but they had a home edge.
Yeah, but it's different. Your team has to commute quite a ways. Like your student body's not going to be there.
But it's in Kansas City. It's right down the street.
Another thing is Jason Bean's gone. So if Jalen Daniels gets injured, you don't have a guy that's a 6-year starter as a backup.
You mean when he gets hurt?
Jalen Daniels' health. To me, that injury, the lingering nature of it, that's the only concern. If he starts all 12 games, I really love the over here, especially when you're getting plus 140 on it.
I emailed the sports book to get Jalen Daniels listed as a Heisman candidate last year.
Yes.
Will not be doing the same this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Because this year is
he gets hurt though. He
but just look at what Lance has done over the years. 2-10. Year one, and we cashed that over.
That's
6-7, we cashed that over.
That's under 8.5.
9-4, cash that over. 8-4 if you're not counting the bowl game. Like this guy continues to improve the program. I don't see why the momentum would stop here. I get playing those games at Arrowhead, but I don't know. I still think they're gonna fill up that crowd decently, and especially if they're good. I'm gonna take
my problem is like the road games, like I'm saying the road teams fan bases, like when they're at home against Iowa State's gonna pack half that stadium. They're playing Arrowhead against Iowa State. Iowa State fans will travel.
Yeah, that's a neutral site,
right? I think Colorado fans will show up to Arrowhead.
As much as I hate Colorado,
so it becomes a neutral site game because that stadium is big enough to do that. So I don't know. It's a little concerning in that regard. I'm still blindly taking the over because I think he's just the best coach.
I guess looking at it the other way, because I'm high on him. What are their 4 losses here?
West Virginia, Kansas State, BYU were the 3 I had penciled in, but Iowa State, like I said, that's a neutral site game now.
They can win at West Virginia.
They won last time there, but they could also lose that game. West Virginia's a lot better. Yeah, they could. And that's what I'm saying. I don't feel as good about this. This is not a lock. I've locked the past 3 years with Leipold. This is nowhere near a lock because, like I said, Iowa State, that's going to be a 50-50 crowd on November 9th, right? Iowa State we just talked about them. We like their chances. Also, I think Colorado will probably be a 50-50 crowd, maybe 60-40. So those games become a lot more like.
To answer your question, Sean, I think West Virginia is the weird road spot that's always tricky. I think BYU is a tough road spot, even though it wasn't always last year. And I think they'll drop one of those home neutral site games, and so then if they lose to Kansas State, now you're at 8 right there. And so I do think
I'll take the under.
You have no margin.
The more I think about it, like
no margin for them.
That's a neutral site game against Iowa State.
No margin to lose at Illinois.
You guys are
early
crazy.
in the season.
Lance,
no margin.
Colby's fading Lance Leipold.
They could lose at Arizona State. I mean,
they don't have we've never seen Jalen Daniels complete a season.
He gets hurt all the time.
So you don't have a 6-year senior backing him up.
What happened last year was like the weird injury, like he's healthy, he's not healthy, he's playing, he doesn't want to play. There was just a lot of weirdness there, Sean. Are you sure you want to get?
But I like
yes,
year
and they
4,
still won 8 games.
And I do think their offensive line. They just went out and got the starting center from Texas A&M. Like I like the team. It's just they have a lot of things going against them, and that is the home environment, the fact that Jalen Daniels gets injured all the time. I think 8-4. They're going to be 8-4 this year.
8-4.
Give me the under.
Great prediction.
Yeah,
maybe 7-5.
All in on Kansas. I think the schedule is very winnable. I don't think that I'm not as worried about the Arrowhead Stadium, but this is just me believing in Lance Leipold.
8-4 can still get you to the Big 12 championship.
Colby.
Yeah.
We had a 10-1 on Iowa State. We have a 9-1 on Kansas.
And we didn't bring that up on the Iowa State one. That's in Arrowhead. It makes me like Iowa State even better because that is going to be a 50-50 crowd.
Let's see. Yep, that's me and you picking them to win the conference there at 10-1. Great pick, Colby. Kansas State, another beautiful cat-based species of football team. 6-3 in conference last year, 9-3 overall. This year they have the highest win total, or tied for the highest in the conference. 9.5 plus 120 to the over, minus 145 to the under, plus 370 to win the conference, plus 310 to make the playoff, minus 420 to miss, 70-1 to win the championship. The odds for them to win the conference are only a little are steeper than making the playoffs only by a tiny bit. That seems egregious. If a conference like this that has a decent depth of talent can't get 2 teams in, that feels a little dirty.
I agree.
So yeah, just that odds discrepancy to me is
no. Like when you look at the ACC, they have some really bad teams, right? When you look at the SEC, they have some really bad teams. When you look at the Big Ten, they have a large amount of shitty teams, right? This conference really doesn't have a shitty floor.
Yeah, I mean by win totals, it's Houston and Arizona State, and we like the over in Houston.
But who was the FCS coach that was filming how shitty everything was? Like the office was dirty.
Ed Reed. He was a coach for 4 days.
It wasn't a packed. It wasn't a Big 12 school. They don't have shitty floors. I mean BYU, Houston would represent, and Arizona State would represent the floor of this conference. So to your point, that's much better than these other ones. A little bit better than Vandy even.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, so we're Sean's on the over, Kansas State. Yeah, so anyway, back to the playoff odds thing though. Would you risk it and take the playoff price versus the conference price?
I would rather take the
conference price.
What was it again though for the?
Well, this for Kansas State's example, it's 370, 310. For Kansas, it was 9-1 and 710. For Utah, it's 3-1 and plus 265. So it's basically
if they win the Big 12, they're making the playoffs. So
well, yeah, but what this is saying is, could there be a second team that gets in? Like they make the championship, they lose the championship,
by getting
they
the
still
lower
get
price,
in.
you're taking a risk that
less risk.
I highly
how many Big 12 teams do you think get in the college
unfortunately
football playoff?
I think that they're so competitive of a conference, like 1 to 16, that I only think they're going to get one in, because
this tells me they are projecting 1.2 teams from the Big 12.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of why I'm on the under with Kansas State. And I love Kansas State and their program. I just think that
it's just tough to this team with expectations. I think is Kansas State's fun when they're a little under the radar back in the Bill Snyder days.
Nice job there.
In the last 20 years, how many times have they won 10 games? Colby?
In the little Big
Apple. 3.
Nailed it.
Oh.
2011 they were 10-3, and these are including bowl games. 2012 11-2, and then 2022 10-4. It's just tough to get this in a competitive conference.
But they also had Oklahoma and Texas in those conferences, and
the bowl. Well, yeah.
And I would say they have their highest rated recruit ever at quarterback, Avery Johnson.
That's the new world. They can. Anyone.
See, what you got to do is you got to make shots.
Anyone can buy a quarterback.
At BYU, I mean their schedule does set up. I see why it's set at 9.5. At BYU is tough. At Colorado, I think is tough. They have back-to-back road spot at Colorado, at West Virginia. I would kind of be surprised
too,
if they would win both those. At Iowa State, yes, in Iowa.
You know the sneaky one? They got the Sunflower Showdown against Kansas, and the next week
at Houston,
Willie Fritz.
Well, and that's
why is it called the Sunflower Showdown?
Because the wheat.
Okay.
Or sunflowers.
Yeah, sunflowers, right?
I don't know.
Sunflowers grow in Kansas. Yeah. So even in that chunk, that's 3 road games out of 4, with their only non-road game being the rivalry game against Kansas. I think they're just going to lose.
Well, and also
9-3.
Let's talk about this. Avery Johnson played some last season, but this will be his first season starting the entire season. He's young, so like I think that team is good. I think they're really good, but I also think the schedule is a tough schedule. Like especially the road trips. Like you look at the road trips. So at Tulane got easier when Fritz left, but at BYU is a hard game. Elevation. At Colorado's elevation, they'll pack that place. At West Virginia's always tough.
It's a back-to-back road spot.
And at Houston isn't necessarily elite. Like I mean, the crowd's all right, but I'm saying
3 out of 4 road games.
Well, it's after the rivalry game.
Yeah,
and then the Farmageddon game I think is incredibly challenging. They lost it last year, right?
So they can only lose 3 games all year.
Yeah.
No, if they lose 3 games.
Yeah. No,
they're not. They're on the under.
Yeah.
They only lose 2 games.
I'll take the.
I think they can get to 3 losses pretty easily. Kramer, give me another under.
Yeah.
This is a good conference for unders because you think like
I like some of the teams in this conference. Kansas State, not that team.
Yeah, it feels like a conference where I don't think any team in this conference is going to win the national championship, but I think there's going to be a lot. The odds, them to win, the teams to win the Big 12. I think the long shots are live in this conference. Like you can talk me in a lot of these mid-range, long-range long shots.
Yeah, well, even just Kansas State. I'd much rather play Kansas on the conference spread odds than Kansas State.
Yeah, I mean Kansas at plus 900. It feels like a pretty decent price.
And I like both teams unders.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm taking the over on the number of entries I have in Circa contests this coming NFL season. We got the Circa Millions giving away 6 million guaranteed. Doesn't matter how many people sign up. Circa Survivor. Guaranteed $10 million up for grabs. Sign up over at Circa Las Vegas or Circa out in Reno. But come on, come out to Las Vegas, hang out with Kramer and I. We're gonna be out there for contest weekend, August 22nd through the 24th. There's gonna be some open bar events there. Hang out with us, say what's up to Derek. Circa is just an awesome place to come hang out. Get in all your future bets, sign up for the contest. Of course, if you are signing up for the contest, you can play from anywhere. Thanks to footballcontestproxy.com. Use a promo code SGP, get you $50 off your proxy fees, and you're good to go. It's super fun contest. Cannot wait. And of course, also make sure you check out Underdog Fantasy. Sign up there, get the pick'em going. Daily pick'em is just great for the summer. Of course, Best Ball Mania, 15 million in guaranteed prizes there. Kramer and I have been firing off a bunch of drafts this summer. And yeah, the pick'em, the higher lower is super fun. Check us out on social. Always giving out a ton of picks, and they offer a ton of, like, hey, take the higher on this half point. Some very low pick'em promos that they offer. It's super fun to combine. You went up to 325x. Are you kidding me? Head over to underdogfantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN to get started today. Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN.
All right. Next up, we got Oklahoma State. Remember when Gundy got in trouble during the pandemic for wearing like a Fox News T-shirt or something?
Yeah,
times have changed.
Fishing on a fucking boat.
7-2 in conference last year. They did represent themselves in the conference championship game. 9-3 overall. This year, the win total 7.5, which is ridiculous. -175 to the over. Lock that up. +145 to the under. The 10-1 conference price is one of the most obvious bets that I'm ever going to make in my lifetime. 300-1 is the price for the national championship. We want to bet teams in this tier already. Their stud running back, and we know running backs had that conference call at the pro level last year. He has decided to come back. Ollie Gordon's back. Guess what, Sean? I'm familiar with teams with a tremendous amount of returning production. Well, Oklahoma State,
it's crazy,
returning a ton of their
19
production.
starters.
Well, that depends on how who's documenting. I know that might be a Phil Steele metric.
Yeah, it's the only one
I've seen that listed as high as 21. It may include the punter in there, but yeah, they're basically returning their entire offense, entire defense.
Kramer, if you guys missed part 1 of the Big 12 conference preview, of course I gave out Oklahoma State last year 50-1 to win the championship. Didn't get home, but to your point, Kramer, how do we not like them again? Their number is 7.5, and the look ahead lines has them favored in 10 games this season. It's really tough to get them to 7-5.
If we adjust the win total for the juice, it does get up to 8.15. So
yeah,
if this was at 8. I wish
it was at 8, so you didn't have to lay -175. But I still like it.
Let's play the game if it's 8.5, but you're getting plus 130 on the over.
This team's gonna be
Still
9-3.
Right?
This team's gonna be 9-3 at the very least. They're gonna be in the mix to win the Big 12. It's hard not to think they're gonna be live in this conference.
It's a team that it seems like players made a they talked about it. They all decided we're coming back. I'm sure this entire team, like guys, had opportunities elsewhere with the transfer portal, with everything
Colby's
else.
Been quiet. Colby, what do you make of Oklahoma?
Because we're changing his mind right now. That's what's happening.
No, I think that's right. I think they got the number right because I think that schedule is really challenging.
Oh.
I lean over though, just trusting Gundy. 8-4 is what I see. But I think it's, his teams traditionally suck in September, and they have a brutal September schedule.
They open with South Dakota State.
They haven't lost a game in 2 years. So getting South Dakota State,
Get
like
Arizona,
I said,
Arkansas. At
that's an old school rivalry, the Arkansas game.
So it'll be 3-0.
I don't think they'll be 3-0. I think they'll lose one of those games. And then you have Utah and Kansas State still in September. So I think that's really challenging. And then
So what do you got them, Sean? 4-1.
I love the backside of the schedule though. Backside of the schedule is great.
Well, BYU at BYU is tough, but you're coming off a bye. Love that. You don't have to go to West Virginia. You play them at home.
I still think they probably lose that game, but I got them beating Baylor, Arizona State, TCU,
Arizona
Texas
State.
Tech,
They're going to fuck up. They can beat
Colorado.
TCU.
Yeah.
They can beat Texas Tech at home. They can probably beat Colorado. I have trouble getting them to 4 losses.
I think they're 8-4.
Even at 8-4, they're still hitting this over.
Yeah. Because I mean, they drop one of the BYU Baylor games.
But I'll tell you this:
yeah, I'm with you guys.
I also a lot of times when they have expectations, they struggle.
Yeah, that's like the big red flag. I just think we're in a different. This is different college football now. The transfer portal is such a different beast that when you have so we don't typically know. This is my thesis. We haven't typically noticed it because the churn. It's also new and there's so much churn that you don't see the teams that pop up. But if we were to look back at some of the teams that either surprised us or had better seasons than we thought, we probably could point to a whole bunch of super seniors or a whole bunch of guys who have been in the program for a while. And so now I feel like that only magnifies the impact of having your entire fucking team come back.
Well, and for everything,
and they're not just last thing I'll say on this. There's not exactly. If we get to the top 10 teams in returning production, so I'll get to 12. By the time you get to 12, you're talking about teams that are only returning 16 out of 24 available starters, special teamers again included in this number. So again, there are only 10 teams that are returning more than 2/3 of their starters / production from last year. Oklahoma State is one of them. Also one of the best coaches in the country, also one of the best home edges in the country.
But they did themselves no favors.
No, I agree.
Look in September, and it's not just last year, but you can go year by year. Last year they looked like shit against an awful Arizona State team in the coach's second game. Right? They ended up winning that game, 27-15. But they played Central Arkansas, who was not very good in the FCS. They got waxed by South Alabama. Right? And then Matt Campbell with 30 guys out beat them. Right?
Unfinished business.
And they had a bye week. This year, their September schedule and August schedule, because South Dakota State games August 31st, is fucking brutal. So they don't have the luxury of starting slow. If they start slow, they're going to be 1-4.
That's why it's great they have the entire team coming back.
Yeah,
to Kramer's point. If we're worried about them starting slow, the fact that they have a shit ton of continuity in a conference where you're getting all these new teams, I think is huge. So
I still think you're right. I think 8-4 is what I see. 8-4. But historically Gundy teams, when they have super big expectations the next year, it's almost like what did we say on last night's show? You love taking PJ Fleck as a dog. Same with Mike Gundy.
Yeah.
Like when the team's projected to be ass is when you know they're going to win like 8 or 9 games. When they have major expectations is when they struggle.
Do they? I don't know.
They have relative expectations.
I guess,
they were 40-1 last year.
I think if you talk to an Oklahoma State fan, they think they're going to win the Big 12. You know.
And again, just to harp on it, if you want to compare,
I'll say this real quick, jumping in. Their win total was 6.5 last year, so it wasn't even that. It's gone up 1.
The odds have gone from 50 to 1.
But they also had Central Arkansas, like South Dakota State is fucking really good. They if you put South Dakota State in the Big 12, they're going to still make a bowl.
Teams in the Big 12 with inside the top 10 in the country in returning production. Again, conference rankings: 1, Oklahoma State; 2, Iowa; 3, Iowa State.
Yeah.
And 3, Baylor. That's and then after that, it falls off a little bit. You have like a Cincinnati, a Utah in there, but
that's a little bit of I think this day and age is. I get your point, and I think there's some validity to it, but I also think you're also like not upgrading your team, are you? Like, because that is concerning. Because when I look at last year's team, I picked them to win, or I took them to in a future, the same as Sean, to get to the Big 12 championship because their schedule, right? Well, when you watch that team, you're like, they were not the second best team in the Big 12 last year.
My general idea is that coaching is as bad as it's ever been. Teams are more volatile than they've ever been, and so give me a unit. Like we learn the same thing from championship teams every year. There's something unique or gluey, or there's a certain care. It's like the team aspect matters a shitload in college, and that would be you're right. They didn't necessarily upgrade the players on the team or the talent on the team, but that collection being together for another year might be the upgrade that's greater than any talent.
Gundy is reliable. Him getting 8 wins, I'm feel great about.
What do you have the record being?
Oh no, I think you're right to think 8-4 is probably where it should be. That's probably why the number isn't flipping over to 8.5 with the juice flipped around the opposite way. They'd rather force the juice to be laid on the over, obviously. That being said, if you force me to say, are they going to win 6 or 9? I'd rather take 9. I'd rather be on the optimistic case than going down to 6. So, all right, TCU. The purple team named the Horned Frogs, and if you haven't seen the clip of the politician just absolutely digging into the university president of Texas about their record against TCU, I think it was hearings over them leaving for the SEC.
I think you're right.
Pretty good stuff. TCU again, Horned Frog. It's okay to say horn up, horny. Maybe horny. Okay, horny up. Sean, we're hornying up together. 3-6 in conference, 5-7 overall. 7.5 is the win total this year. Plus 125 to the over, minus 150 to the under. 18-1 to win the Big 12. 300-1 to win the national championship. And just for a reference point, the juice of minus at once to highlight the difference between a 7.5 with minus 175 to the over and a 7.5 and minus 150 to the under. That's the difference of a full win. So even though these teams are sitting on 7.5, the odds are suggesting they are a full win apart.
Well, they do have the fucking Long Island Sharks on the schedule.
Look out!
What's your
get them at Fort Worth though?
What was your take on TCU last year, Colby? Because I feel like that probably helps define what you think they're going to do this
year. Real quick stats courtesy of Phil Steele. 4 net close losses. That's usually a good sign for the following year. Plus 57 yards per game in Big 12 conference play. 16 returning starters, and they do have the 5 Big 12 home games. So those are all positive trends. But how say you, Colby?
Yeah, I love the under. I'm going to lock up the under actually because they lost their best defensive player to Oklahoma. They also are going to be starting like their quarterback situation is interesting. It's either Ken Seals. I know it sounds like a porn name, but
Ken Seals.
Yeah,
Ken Seals the deal.
Coming over from
sorry,
right in the butt.
Coming over from Vandy, or they're going to be going with the freshman last year that played a few games at the end of the year. His name's Josh Hoover. He actually in one game he looked really good, but in the others he did not. He looked like a freshman. Either way, like one of the things I ate shit the first year with Sonny Dykes coming in because I really questioned that hire, and I like Sonny Dykes, but I just thought his teams at SMU were kind of lackluster. His teams at Cal were kind of lackluster. And it was funny. I had Scotty Wackenheim, who was a FCS coach of the year at VMI on our show. And he talked about his belief was that Sonny Dykes, Scotty Wackenheim, I asked him what coach was the best coach he ever coached with. He said, Gary Patterson. Right. And he said, Gary Patterson's judge of talent was the best he's ever seen. So he won that. He got TCU to the national championship with Gary Patterson's players. Now he's 3 years removed from them. I don't know that this will work out for him at TCU. Now I know he shouldn't be on the hot seat because he was in the national championship 2 years ago, but I'm just saying I still question that hire, even though I ate shit on that first year. And
13-2.
We have multiple options of Colby saying I ate shit.
Yeah. Look, I'm on the under because I think the team is. I don't see like the roster there that like what has you sold on this roster? I don't know. And then you look at their spots. Okay, I think they're going to lose to UCF on September 14th. I think they very well
back-to-back road at SMU at Kansas.
I think they're definitely going to lose to Kansas. SMU has thrown a shit ton of money in their football program, and that game becomes way more interesting now. And obviously, they want to get. That's the battle of the iron skillet. He left SMU for TCU, which I know they take very personal.
You think it's a cast iron skillet?
And then they're definitely going to lose at Utah, right? You could talk me into them potentially beating Baylor because they might not have their coach there. But
why do you keep saying all this bad stuff about Baylor?
I just think that it's a tough schedule. Like they're going to be dogs.
Even at Cincinnati, you might think they got Cincinnati, but that's Saturday, November 30th.
There, then
you're a Texas team going into a freezing cold Midwest. That's a tough spot.
Well, and you said 7.5's the number, so it's like, can you come up with 5 losses? I can. UCF, SMU,
Stanford,
Kansas, Utah, and either Texas Tech, Baylor, or Oklahoma State. And that's not even including Arizona, which I think will be favored against them.
And at Cincinnati is a losable game for Kansas State.
Like, what are the for sure wins? It's Long Island.
Or sorry, TCU.
Long Island is the only for sure win on the schedule.
Yeah,
maybe,
I was going to say
maybe you say Stanford because
I think we're going to be betting. Sean, we'll be in Vegas Saturday, September 14th. I think we're going to be taking UCF in the points against the TCU Horned Frogs. That's a prediction.
September 7th, they're playing the Sharks.
The 14th.
Oh, we're going to be out the 14th.
We're going out.
no, I think.
You're right. Yeah. Why did I think they were playing week 0?
So take the fucking Sharks in the points. Let's go.
We'll be sitting in front of God's eye watching the UCF Knights take down. Yeah, I'm betting the UCF that game. That's going to be a good one. Coming high off that LIU win. Under, I guess we're all in the under.
I'm on the under.
Yeah, I feel really good about this.
Hey, welcome to the team.
Team unders.
It's -150, so we should be on that side. All right, Texas Tech, which are officially still fuck Texas Tech, right? They still owe money, right?
They did have her there though for something, and I think they're on. I'm not 100% on this. I heard speculation that they might. This will be in Pullman. They play Washington State week 2. I think they might be honoring Coach Leach that.
Oh, that'll be sweet.
Yeah, and we will be in Vegas for that one.
Ooh, then we obviously are going to be on Wazoo. All right, Texas Tech 5-4 in conference last year, 6-6 overall.
This team was such a hard watch Texas Tech fans. They don't realize how this was painful because they should have beat Wyoming. They blew a 17-point lead.
I think they might
in the season opener.
Though.
They were up 10 on Oregon with 8 minutes left, and you lost by 8 because of a pick 6 with 1 second left or 5 seconds left.
Regression loading.
I mean, it was a very painful year. That 7-point loss at West Virginia.
So we're not saying fuck Texas Tech.
No, I actually think they're closer than you realize. Like now, that Texas abomination to end the season, I don't know how to break that one down, but I do think they're closer than some think.
7.5 is their total this year. This one's juiced to the over -150, +125 to the under, 13-1 to win the conference, 300-1 to win the national championship.
They start out with a ton. The first 5 games, I think, put them in a pretty good spot for the season overall.
They should be either 5-0 or 4-1.
Yeah, at Abilene Christian at home, at Wazoo. Okay. Maybe they lose.
That's the one. If they lose, that would be it because teams normally struggle in Pullman.
That's a ridiculous spot that time of year.
North Texas at home, Arizona State at home, Cincinnati at home. They should be cooking.
You trying to act like Pullman's not a tough spot, Sean?
No, that's why I said that might be. That's probably the toughest game in those first 5 games, and just to have that many home games early on, then at Arizona, then you get a bye.
So you 5 losses, you need to find again, right? I would favor Washington State barely, like by 1.5 or something, right?
I can see they can lose all their road games.
Well, they're going to lose at Arizona, I think, and they're going to probably TCU is a winnable game, but at Iowa State's a loss. At Oklahoma State's a loss.
I'm just saying, all their road games are pretty much losable games. Where are they going to be favored?
So
Maybe
that'd be 4 losses.
Yeah.
Let's say they get 1, whether it's Washington State or TCU.
Can they drop a home game? Then becomes the question. Probably not.
Their home schedule's kind of nice though, dude.
That's what I mean.
Abilene.
So
North
they have
Texas,
5 road games.
Arizona
They can
State.
win one of those and then be 8-4. Sweep at home.
My thought is that they're going to lose a home game.
West Virginia or Colorado or Baylor could get
and they'll make up with it stealing a road game, but I can't get there.
Joey McGuire's
the
been
numbers right though.
Joey McGuire's been consistent 5-4 both years in conference.
But I don't want to put the -150 for them to get to
I'll take the over.
I'll take the over.
I just feel like it's right there, and look, they're due for just winning some of these close games.
I'm going to go back and do some analysis to see how often you guys just chase the juice. Fucking, you guys ride a donkey to work today?
I wish. Little plus EV donkey. Hey, don't be a donkey. Sign up over on Rhythm, sportsgamingpodcast.com/rhythm, RITHMM. It's the summer, which means some nice opportunity to crush the WNBA golf. Their models have been dominating in both those sports. Player props, some nice top 20 numbers they're hitting in golf, and of course, never too early to start with your model. So Rhythm, what's cool about it is you can use their models, or you can create your own, put it in the stats that matter to you, and just owning a model. How cool is that? sportsgamingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Get your free 7-day trial. Try the 7-day trial. It's free. The worst case is like, I don't like this. You can cancel, but you're not going to cancel because you're going to enjoy it. You're going to get some winners. sportsgamingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. Get your free trial and get started today.
All right. Back at it. 3 more teams to go in the Sweet 16. UCF, Central Florida, which if you squint and tilt to the side, it kind of looks like the First College Experience logo a little bit. 3-6 is the conference record from last year. Were they the most successful new team last year? I think so.
Man, they were better than their record though. Man.
No, but I even think with their 3-6 record, they had the best record of the newcomers to the conference.
Do you remember that Baylor game where they blew a 35 point lead?
Oh, that was great.
They were up 35-0. They lost 36-35.
They still qualified for a bowl. They made it to 6-6. 7-5, or sorry, 7.5 is the total this year. -105 to the over, -115 to the under. 9-1 is the conference price. 300 to 1 is the overall price. Well, here we go again, because you want to talk about a team in the entire college football landscape that I am gobbling up futures on right now.
Gobble, gobble.
I just think, you made fun of me when I made the Dak Prescott comparison when it came to Jefferson.
That is a disgusting act.
At Arkansas in terms of having to do a ton for that team. Now he goes into the most, I want to say, like, just create gimmicky shit. And for a guy who's going to do like this, just strikes me as a dark horse Heisman role on KJ Jefferson. This strikes me as a dark horse. We don't have a playoff odds. I like, maybe we'll scrounge for that when we're out in Vegas, Sean, on UCF. I'm certainly going to add the 9. I think I'm going to end up with 3 futures from this conference, all in the 10-1 range, because the 9-1 conference price here makes a lot of sense to me. And Colby nailed it. This is a very strange road trip for a lot of these teams. You think about where a lot of these teams are coming from. Florida is not like the land they come from, not like the air they typically breathe. I love UCF this year.
You're not used to this Florida air. I agree.
It's true. Fucking, I gotta go back.
You don't need to yell at me. Yes.
I gotta go back this year. I'm dreading it already.
Well, but Colby said they weren't as bad as their record, or they were better than their record, and certainly.
Oh, I was referencing.
There's a ton of regression stuff in a positive way for this UCF team. 3-6 record, but they were plus 21 yards per game in Big 12 play. So these, especially year 1, all right, a learning curve, but year 2, I think they're going to hit the ground running in conference play. And KJ Jefferson is dynamic.
Do you have their point differential?
I don't in front of me, but I can tell you this. I remember watching that 2-point loss at Oklahoma and that 1-point loss at Texas Tech. And then when you mix that with blowing a 30-point lead against Baylor.
Yeah, just test. They should have had a better win-loss.
Well, to tell you the truth, like John Rice Plumlee, as much as we loved him, he was a terrible throwing quarterback. And now you bring in KJ Jefferson, who's to me an upgrade, just a big-time upgrade. And not only that, they have been going in on the portal. They brought in like Cedric Hawkins, a safety from Ohio State. They brought in Penny Boone, a running back from Louisville, a couple guys from Bama. I've really liked what they've done in the portal. Now I will say this though, he is a crazy ass coach.
Yep.
There are times there are a couple times. Was it UCF versus Louisville?
Who was it?
Yeah, it was Louisville. We were watching Vegas.
Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck?
He's a crazy ass
killing
coach.
this team, and he's running like these they're like blowing guys off the line of scrimmage, and then he's running like double reverse.
Yeah, and he'll go for like a 4th and 5 on his own 30 sometimes. And sometimes you're just like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? But
Kenneth Dwayne KJ Jefferson Jr. 6'4", 266 pounds, Sean. Dog. The last time Gus Malzahn coached a big ass motherfucker,
Malzahn, right? Malzahn.
Gus Malzahn. What did I say?
You said Gus Malzahn, like he's at the auto
he's
zone.
Well, he might be running the auto. Last time we had a big ass quarterback like this, it worked out nicely. Cam Newton ran the fucking table in the SEC. And they won the national championship.
Has KJ Jefferson tried to steal anyone's laptop, Colby? Because that's a sign.
Wait, didn't he get arrested this offseason?
That's a sign of a Heisman Trophy winner.
He showed up to Gus Malzahn. I said it again.
Yeah,
that feels like something accident. Like that feels like a weird.
What did he get arrested? He got arrested for something. DUI maybe. Something.
Whatever. We can move past. But anyway, the point being, this seems like, to your point, it might work out poorly because he's a crazy ass coach. But
he was arrested in Arkansas.
I like the upside here. Oh, so that's why he's moved on.
Yeah,
he's moved on to Florida. Should help him keep
probably
clean.
Why they arrested him.
Florida's good at helping you stay clean.
I'm with you though. I like the schedule. It's a really nice schedule.
Oh, let's look at it.
You get New Hampshire and Sam Houston State to open the schedule.
Whoa.
And then, like I said, I'm not really bullish on TCU. I expect them to be 3-0 at the bye, and then I think they're going to go crazy because Deion's returning. I think it's a terrible spot for Colorado with them off the bye. Deion returning to Florida. So I kind of think 4-0 there, and then like I said, we all think Florida's kind of
they go to the swamp.
Now that's a hard place to win, obviously.
It's a wounded Gator, right?
But I think they could, like, what better year to get Florida than this year? So they very well could be 5-0 hosting Cincinnati. They very well could be 6-0. I think probably by that point they'll be 5-1 if I had to guess.
At Iowa State's tough.
That's a loss. They're gonna lose.
But you get BYU at home, which is where you want. And you get Arizona at home. Yeah. Arizona State on the road. That's perfect. West Virginia again.
That's a loss, probably
tough, but you're coming off a bye.
It's gonna be cold as fuck though. Like
it's true. And then you get Utah at home.
That's the one that I think is an interesting game. Even if they lose Utah, they're still good to hit the over. But I wonder if that gimmick shit's gonna work against Utah.
That's true. But again, I would have rather played Utah like early where the heat and humidity would get to them.
Yeah.
I feel like your advantage.
I still think they're gonna beat Utah though, man. When I really think about it, I'm like,
I wouldn't be shocked.
Utah on the road is always a different team than in Salt Lake City.
No, Kramer's right. I mean, especially when you see their schedule, the over is
the advantage greater in the beginning of the year or the end of the year?
Beginning
for
of the
Hawaii,
year.
for Florida, I think definitely early. That heat and humidity.
So a team coming from the snow to potentially a warm day in Florida.
Yeah, I don't know. You look at the NFL and college. I feel like the home field advantage. Look at the Miami Dolphins. Like the home field is in the month of September when it's still insanely hot.
Agreed.
But either way,
I'll take the over,
I like UCF.
I like the over too.
Fun fact.
I like Malzahn. A lot of regression stuff.
A gator can close its mouth with up to 5,000 psi force.
Damn.
But a baby can hold it shut. Just talking about the Gators at the Swamp this year. Incredibly weak. Can't even open your mouth, you pussy ass gator. Babies hold.
Should we get a baby to try it out? Colby, what's White Tiger doing?
Yeah.
Let's see if Kramer's
White Tiger could 100% hold a gator's mouth.
He's already watched he watched the movie Gator with Burt Reynolds the other night, and then
how many times has he watched Crocodile Dundee?
He has got that in a few times. We go through all the Charlie Bronson classics. He's definitely watched Running Man a decent amount of times. So I mean, we got him on the trajectory. He did watch the 1952 Army Navy game too. So
if you had to do hand-to-hand combat with an animal, gator, large cat, gorilla.
Oh, gator, 100%.
Yeah, gorilla is the most terrifying, probably. Right? I know the cat is terrifying.
Like if you keep your hands up and you get some good head movement,
it's like Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. Too. Like gator is one-dimensional.
Yeah, it's a dinosaur too. You know what I mean?
And you could run away from it.
I've been reading a lot
you couldn't
about.
run away from a gorilla or a cat.
Dude,
I've been reading a lot
Gorilla
about
will
how
throw your ass fucking 20 yards, man.
the problem with
Gorillas
gorillas
use tools.
Yeah, but the interestingly enough, their intelligence actually is potentially limiting them from understanding their true strength because they don't often practice using it. And so I wonder if a gorilla really would be able to like rip you in half like they claim they could.
I don't know, man. You've been to the zoo and seen a fucking gorilla. I'm not.
Ryan's calling out gorillas as being pussies.
Yeah.
I didn't
say they're pussies. I just wonder if they know their true strength.
I tell you, this guy.
Utah.
How are you guys going to host an animal show when he has these takes like this?
I know.
Coming soon. 5 and 4.
565.
5 and 4 in the Pac-12 last year.
Do I still have a list? I think Blake Bortles is better than Dak Prescott.
Speaking of bad animal takes, 8 and 4 overall. 9.5 is the total this year. -160 to the over, +130 to the under. The juice adjusts this all the way up to 10. So this is the biggest win total in the conference. +300 to win the conference as the new team. +265 to make the playoff. -350 on the no side. 60 to 1 to win the national championship. Utah would certainly be a fun team to host the playoff game.
Oh yeah,
would love to see that kind of advantage over.
I mean, imagine seeing snow in a football playoff game.
It's happening.
College finally figuring their shit out.
It's going to be so funny when they figure out that weather adds to the viewer experience in football.
Oh no,
they're going to be like, well, can we simulate this?
Well,
can we make some artificial stuff?
And it'll be so great to see, those teams in the South that always had that gigantic advantage.
Well, it of all the things that you scream at the clouds about, I do think the idea of always playing the championship game in good weather is inherently stupid, and the NFL does it too. They did play that one time in New Jersey.
I've always said the NFL should just, take all 32 teams, put them in a hat, go one by one. That once you've used that one team, they're done for the next 32 years.
Unfortunately, but yeah, I agree with you. I think a little bit of a weather element's fun. It gives a nice little random chance piece of the season. All right, so big number. You got to lay the juice. We generally like Utah when we're talking about them as like the tough team in the Pac-12. They're entering a team that historically I've made fun of for being soft, running high school offenses. They have gotten a lot more physical over the past couple of years. So I wonder how the transition will go. Are you buying them as the, hey, let me pop into this league and win the championship year one? Like,
yeah, because the schedule's really kind, I think they're not going to lose at home unless, like I said, so what they can't lose 3 times, right? 9.5.
They are not allowed to lose 3 times.
Well, I think they
could lose 3 times. Oh, you mean to get the over? Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I guess
I like them getting Oklahoma State in September. Like, I think that's a much more winnable game than it is any other month.
It's a back-to-back road spot.
What's the quarterback situation this year? Are we going to have a guy?
Cam Rising's 80 years old, but same with Oklahoma State's Alan Bowman.
How hilarious was it? What was it? 2 years ago, and
this is last year.
Oh, it was last year. Yeah. Where we're like,
he's questionable this week.
Every week.
Like Cam Rising's not playing.
And 2 years ago, 2 years ago on a Thursday night against Washington State, he just didn't play.
Yeah,
it's like we were all sitting there back in Utah.
Can we fix that with college and get an injury report, guys?
Yeah, I did say that. I was talking to Colby before the show. I go, it'd be really great if college football figured out injury reports. Now that they figured out the playoff, what next? Injury reports?
But don't look. You guys had Belichick for a lot of years.
Yeah.
In the NFL, and that motherfucker would never. Everyone's questionable. The whole goddamn roster is questionable.
But at least there's some.
I agree. It needs to be a thing.
Report.
But
a Q at least doesn't. All of a sudden, it's like he's fine. He misses the entire season. At least there's fines involved. There's you lose.
No, the NFL's done it right. They've upped it too, where you can get in trouble. But
they don't fuck around.
I remember like in the late '90s and early 2000s when you would just be like, dude, Belichick has the whole roster on the.
Well, and then there's the whole like they got rid of probable and doubtful, and they went to questionable, and they kind of told teams like, yeah, we don't give a shit on the dynamics. Just list the guy if he's hurt.
Yeah.
So assuming the quarterback's healthy this year, I don't know how much. I mean, I just think that anytime I look at a college schedule specifically, and you see like the harder part of the schedule being earlier in the season, it always gives me pause in terms of like, oh, well, what if they lose both those games? What if they drop the rivalry game at Utah State and Oklahoma State?
No, I think Like Utah State, I don't think is there. That is a dangerous game because it's on the road. But I'm saying, I think that I actually favor them in both of them.
Different season.
I favor them in both of them, and maybe let's play devil's advocate. Oklahoma State gets them in Stillwater, even though I think I favor Utah.
Utah is favored by a point.
They should be, and after that, though, you're like, look at your other road spots at Arizona State. Now, historically, they have had that's been a nightmare fucking place for them. But is Arizona State there yet? I don't think they are. No. Arizona State's not as good as they've been the past decade, with exception to the last year. At Houston, you're still getting Fritz, first year coach. I kind of think Utah can win that. At Colorado and at UCF become the potential.
They're laying 8 at Colorado. I don't have a UCF number.
But that was a 7-point game a year ago, and I don't even think Shedeur Sanders played that game. Memory serves me correct. That was Colorado's backup quarterback. Now it was Utah's backup quarterback too, but at UCF,
that could be tough.
I think they're going to lose that game at UCF, right? So I have, to me, just like one flat out loss would be UCF, but there is the Holy War, and I'm so glad this is back because this game's fucking insane. This is one of my favorite college football games to watch every year. It's like the backyard brawl in the West, in my opinion. Like
backyard brawl with level. Milk instead of beer.
Exactly.
Different religion, same battle. Look,
I know that they've won a bunch. Like BYU got them the last time they played, but the last couple of times in Salt Lake City, these games have been insane. They played in 2018, and because Kalani Sitake used to be the defensive coordinator for Kyle Whittingham.
Yeah.
So the games are all fucking insane. They blew a 27-3 lead or 27-7 lead, I think, and they lost 35-27. The time before that was a 1-point game. The time before that, just you can't count that as an automatic win.
Yeah, Utah has won 9 out of 10.
Yeah, but dude, by 1 point, by 3 points.
You listen to this, Sean? This is some good stuff.
I don't count that. Don't just count that as an automatic win.
No, I'm with you. I think you can talk yourself into there being like even the idea that they're laying 10 points against Iowa State on November 23rd, which
I'll tell Colorado's going to beat them. Colorado gets them in the best spot the week after the Holy War.
So you're saying
I'm going to go under.
Really? You're saying we should do it?
No, I'm going to take the over.
I don't
3 losses.
It's hard for me to 3
losses.
9-3. No. I'm saying okay. My bad.
I messed you up originally.
No, I was saying that. I would say Oklahoma State is a potential loss. I think Utah's going to beat them. I got them going 10-2.
That's probably right, but I'm going to take the under
me too.
Because the juice, and I like UCF and I like Kansas.
Something to note: if Cam Rising does get injured,
I was going to say who's the
backups? The ones that started from a year ago. One of them starts at Utah State. The other, or I don't even know if he's going to start. He's in competition to start at Utah State. The other one's at Vanderbilt.
So they're not there. Is that your point?
Well, my point is Cam Rising's been injured 1,000 times in his career. So like, it's possible. This is how you lose your bet if he gets injured.
All right. So their backup quarterback is a freshman. That's not good, Sean. Under.
Yeah, I'm on the under. Colby's probably right. It's.
I got the number right.
10-2 is fine. I'm not going to lock this up.
I'll take the
because they're so good at home. But I think you toss in
an EA.
To me, it's close, and the tiebreaker is new conference.
You give me the over for some reason.
EA Sports absolutely disrespected. They ranked the top 25 home environments. Man,
Utah's not on there.
They get him pretty far back, but this should be a top 10.
Is Lane Stadium there?
I don't think so.
What?
Yeah, I don't think it's top. Maybe in the late 20s. You have to pull it up. Utah should be top 5 or 10.
That Virginia Tech North Carolina game literally ended the pandemic.
They had Texas A&M number 1, which makes me think Texas A&M just gave them a bunch of money.
Texas, we were there.
Utah is harder to win at than Texas A&M.
Texas A&M, great vibe. But if the center of your attraction is a parade and not a football game, you can't be top. That's ridiculous. West Virginia. Shout out to Morgantown, 6-3 in the conference last year. Surprised a lot of people. 8-4 overall. They were not supposed to be good, and the number this year says they're going to regress back down a little bit. 6.5, -125 to the over, +105 to the under. 6.
Tough schedule though.
A very tough schedule. 18-1 to win the conference. You can kind of see it reflected there. 300 to 1 to win the national championship. they do gain. They always will have the advantage in this conference of just being the weird team.
Cincinnati helps that though.
Yeah,
and UCF.
Yeah, Cincinnati specifically, I think gives.
But part of what makes Morgantown weird to get to isn't just the spot on the map. It's also the relative, like the spot.
You gotta fly into like Pittsburgh and drive for an hour.
It's not like you're flying into Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And so it is a little bit of a. It's like Iowa State going to Ames. Like there's a little bit more to do. And so I don't know. I mean, West Virginia was shocking last year. I don't think I certainly wasn't seeing them be good.
I was on the over.
And like you said, when you look at the schedule this year, is Poffenberger still playing up in Albany?
No, he's at Miami.
Damn. Because they got the Great Danes on the schedule. They're at Pitt. They got Penn State coming to town to open the season.
Love the non-con. Thank that whoever scheduled this deserves a fucking. Someone send him a fucking apple pie.
Colby should just be sending gift baskets to all these.
That's actually
That's the way you got to do it.
We should get whatever those like. What are they like? The melon package, the fruit. What is it?
Colby's going to put out his top 20 athletic directors.
Yeah, top 20 athletic directors. And we'll give him a gift basket. Thank you for scheduling hard. Love Colby.
Yeah, I'm saying, it's gonna be a nice little card, and it's just open up and say thank you for doing college football. Right.
Yeah, it should be like a Hallmark card, right? Like there should be some sort of like
you, sir, have done college football right.
Yeah.
Here's a gift.
Colby, you were on the under last year, West Virginia. 5.5.
I think this is one at Benedict. On the.
So how could we?
That's why I bring these sheets up, Ryan.
It's important to write everything down. They say history is written by the winners, not the losers. So yeah,
they were returning their whole line. I think that was what swayed me.
Yeah, so West Virginia does actually show up.
Swayed you to the under?
To the over.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Because look, we did this show. So look,
I only do my show.
We did this show.
I've never been invited
last
on the
July. Guess when I did it? August fucking 20th. There's a lot you can gain. You know what I mean?
That's true. Your opinion could. I appreciate.
So important to the listeners. This show is meaningless.
Yeah.
Check out Colby's team preview.
Yeah. If you want to hear the good picks.
This year West Virginia's going to be. It's going to be in July.
Picks.
Yeah.
Sean, this is like newbie with his lacrosse picks.
Yeah.
He comes on our show and doesn't give us the good
you
picks.
learn certain things. I mean, shit. If you go and hear, Neil Brown talk at media day, and he says like we have the best offensive line in the Big 12, you might fucking change your opinion, and I think you guys would too.
Well, they're returning 8 of those offensive starters from last year. They return 5 on the defensive side of the ball, and one of the few teams that's returning their kicker and punter.
Ooh.
That's not the kind of handicap Colby's generally into, but I mean, I'm wearing a West Virginia rugby shirt from the year 2000. It might have been 2001 actually. I have never had a bad time on the campus of West Virginia.
Oh, I did. Sort of. It was amazing, but I got pepper sprayed.
Yeah, but getting pepper sprayed on West Virginia campus is just what you do at West Virginia.
We were having fun.
If you talk to anyone who's been to Morgantown more than once, the chances they have a pepper spray story. It's a university with a great view in all directions.
Yeah.
Because the bar is a little lower on the admissions, and they know how to have a good party. I have nothing but great things to say about Morgantown, and after the way they shocked me last year, I might have to give them an honorary over this year. But I want to hear the schedule is ridiculous though.
That's the thing.
It's a really hard one to judge.
They're set up for some regression, and they also have a tough schedule. Those are the two things I picked up from my buddy Phil Steele.
My worry is,
but they can regress and still get.
I can't have too many overs because there's only so many wins to give around in this conference, and I already have 5 overs. So,
well, I definitely think
so. You have 5 overs and 10 unders.
I think they're losing.
Does that feel like a good strategy?
Yeah, that feels exactly where I want to be.
I think they're losing in Lubbock, losing in Tucson, and losing in Stillwater. So like that's 3 losses.
Losing at home to Penn State.
Well, I think either Penn State or Pitt, they'll lose one of those.
Penn State's going to kick their ass.
Oh my God. Yeah. When they beat Penn State 18-12.
I think they're going to beat Penn State and lose to Pitt, if I had to guess. Just because I feel like I'd be shocked if they swept.
Is Kansas a guaranteed win?
No, none of these are guaranteed wins.
Let's go guaranteed win. Albany?
Yeah. Albany's the only guaranteed win.
Yeah.
Because even Cincinnati's at Cincinnati, so it wouldn't shock me.
Baylor at home?
Yeah, but I mean, if we looked at the schedule last year, we would have done the same thing.
Yeah,
we would have been like, this team's trash. We thought the coach was going to be fired.
I like
last
Neil
year.
Brown.
We thought he was going to be fired, though. If we go back and listen to last year's episode,
I thought he was going to be fired.
You were probably talking about Neil Brown the same way you were Dave
fired.
Aranda this year. So
I even thought if he went bowling, he would get fired.
Revenge from last year when they got thumped 38-15 by Penn State.
No. Yeah, well, and Penn State ran it up. That game was much closer than that.
I do think they lose.
Great move by Penn State.
The chances they beat. There's just a lot of bad spots on their schedule. I'm unfortunately. I was going to give them an honorary over.
I think, dude, it's look.
How do you get
look
there?
at that.
How do you get to the over?
I mean, look at their first 8 games. If you throw out Albany, every other team is like definitely really good. I mean,
to your point, they're playing top 25 team in Penn State. They're at Pittsburgh, which is a rivalry game.
Just
the
throw
top
that,
25 team in Kansas, then a bye. Top 25 team in Oklahoma State, an Iowa State team that we all like, a top 25 team in Kansas State, at a top 25 team in Arizona.
Kansas State's their homecoming game, right? Like that's that. I mean, and Kansas State is sitting there with a win total of 9.5. They think that's the game you're making homecoming.
I'll be honest. If they get
just shows you how there wasn't.
If they get 5 wins, that's a good. I feel like 5 or 6 wins would be a good year.
I'm going under.
7-5.
Yeah,
I think 6 and 6, but
they'll go bowling.
I think so, just barely.
I can't wait till someone realizes they can create a second tournament, and just like college basketball, we don't have to have these stupid bowl games, and we can have a separate tournament and just have cash.
Why don't you just
what do they play for? Cash.
Sound like Mike Leach.
Yeah, that was a smart guy.
Why don't you just call it like the bowl playoff or something where each one of those bowl games are a playoff game?
Yeah, it's very solvable, but it would involve
who would want the bowl games to become meaningful? That would be again,
if you're on the fence about this, go pull up the new playoff schedule. And when you realize that all it's done is taken, say, a meaningless week 18 in the NFL and given us some additional meaningful college games, and then you see what it does during playoff time, when it's like college playoff game, NFL playoff game, like Super Wild Card Weekend, I believe goes Thursday college, Friday college, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. NFL.
Yeah. It's gonna be awesome.
Wow.
NFL right around the corner. Team previews. Check out our fantasy football episodes. Colby's 134 team previews, but lock, and future. Kramer, what do you got?
Well, this is a little trickier because I have eyes for 2 futures in this conference. I really like KJ Jefferson.
I see you have braces.
I really like Oklahoma State returning everyone.
Yep.
I think the way that I'll play this is because the Oklahoma State, just give me both futures. Fuck you. Put a second future line if you have to. Sometimes you have to make adjustments. For the over or for the lock.
So you're taking Oklahoma State 10-1 and UCF 9-1.
Yes. And then one of the locks will be the win total for UCF on the over.
UCF over 7.5.
Yes.
Okay.
And then, I mean, I hate to do this, but Jalen Daniels just gets hurt every year. I'm gonna fade Kansas under 8.5.
It's such a bummer that Kansas has like their best team ever. And
they don't even have
home. Yeah, it's like it's so Kansas of you.
It does seem like that is an underreported story.
And watch, Leipold's going to take a job next year, and they're going to have this brand new stadium.
Well, he's a 100% because like Kansas is a job you upgrade.
Watch
from,
it, like Florida give him a job.
Yeah.
Florida's going to hire Leipold, and then all of a sudden, you just upgraded, and all of a sudden you don't have a coach now.
Got to get that Mangino guy.
They could go to the playoffs this year if they have a fucking home stadium.
Listen, you can plan these projects.
You can. Vanderbilt's playing through it. Remember they had like wires holding the fucking scoreboard last year.
I was at Virginia Tech when they were playing through it. They were taking some of that Vic money and making the stadium nicer. They didn't say, "Hey guys, we're just gonna play football down the street at Radford this season."
Stupid.
Like, what?
So stupid.
I'll take UCF on the over.
Nice pick, Sean.
Oklahoma State on the over. I'll take UCF to win the conference at 9-1. And I will take a small sprinkle on the Kansas Jayhawks to win college football playoff at 200-1, because if everything breaks right and Jalen Daniels is healthy, they could be a fun team in that playoff.
Are you gonna bet the Heisman?
What's his Heisman at?
I'm sure you're gonna have to send an email to get it listed.
No, come on. I'll look that Heisman up.
You might have to maybe a Telegraph.
Yeah, come on.
Now last year he wasn't listed. You act like I'm saying crazy shit over here. And they don't list everyone.
35-1.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
So I'd rather take the 200-1 value. Colby,
lock up UCF over 7.5.
Oh boy, Jesus.
I will also lock up TCU under 7.5. I do like the UCF future to win the Big 12. Jesus. But I mentioned this. I think it's highly likely that a 8-4 team could via tiebreaker, which 8-4 they might have a non-con loss, like Texas Tech say loses in Pullman.
Yeah,
and they only have 3 losses in conference. So I will take a stab on Texas Tech with the crazy tiebreaker with that weak ass conference schedule.
I'm gonna put you in a shed,
potentially get that championship. So plus 1300. Let's go.
You stepped.
And you know what? Sprinkle a little Utah to win the national championship.
Had a great what?
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
Well, they get a bye week. They could get a bye week, and then
they would have a nice.
They're probably playing in Arizona, which the crowd, could, if you would think they would probably put them in at either the Rose Bowl or Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. So then they'd be playing a team, I don't know, whoever, Notre Dame or something in the Fiesta Bowl.
All right,
that could be Utah could win that.
All right.
Then next thing you know, they're 1 win away from the championship game.
I like how you did that. Pretty easy, and you also stepped all over my suite. I was going to put Colby in a shed joke, but
I missed that
for betting Texas Tech to win the conference.
I got you.
On a hot day, I'm going to lock you in a shed.
All right, shed boy. Hey,
Pussy.
check out the college football team previews if you want the correct over under win total predictions.
That West Virginia one's on the fence again.
All right, stay tuned. We might have see who Colby likes on the West Virginia. Also, if Colby has a guest, it skews to the over. You want a strong trend.
That's why I stopped doing guests.
Colby has a
it's
guest.
Gotta be just NC Nick, Patty C. All right, if I put on someone I don't know, and he's another thing is they sprinkle fairy dust on you. Like, no, this team's loaded. If it's like a beat reporter,
I've seen them in the spring game. They're looking good. Colby's just like, okay.
2 years ago with Baylor, when Baylor was complete ass, last season with Baylor it was. The guy comes on, he's like, this roster's loaded. It went out, and then you're just like, you start buying in. I hate it. I want to stay. In a way,
stay objective.
Yes, and Troy Calhoun also gave me a fucking sour lemon last year too. All right,
can't trust them.
But that makes sense. You're a service academy. You're supposed to, espionage, all this good shit. You know what I mean?
He played you like a fool.
Yeah, that one, my mistake.
Was he wearing one of those human masks they wear? The government. You gotta be careful.
Kramer just pulls in deep conspiracy theories off Reddit and acts like people know they're the references.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
I get I'd say equal parts fantasy football questions and conspiracy DMs at this point.
For Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second the money green. He's Ryan.
I guess country roads take me home.
Kramer, let it ride.